Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I reconnected. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay, great. All right, let me get started. I know we're pressed for time. Sorry about the technical difficulties that we was having as far as connecting. Um, the first thing, what is business credit? So, business credit is an area of financing that every entrepreneur should learn about. It's one of the single most important income business decisions that you can make, obtaining business credit. Business credit is like building personal credit. You can actually build credit for your business without making yourself a personal guarantor. Everything will be based off your EIN and not your social security number. Why is it important to have business credit? The main reason it's important to have business credit is because you want to keep your personal credit and your business credit separate. You don't want to use your personal credit to run your business. Business credit can be built up so you can have the necessary vendors to go out and buy supplies, computer accessories, hardware, furniture, etc. And you can do all that based off building up business credit for your business without having to touch your personal credit. Also, it's a way of keeping your cash flow going so you don't have a whole bunch of out-of-pocket expenses for your business. So every time you want to go and, pick up supplies, you can go out and reach out to one of the vendors that you set up an account with, and they will give you terms, and you can just purchase your supplies, keep your money in your pocket, and then whatever terms that you and that vendor or that vendor gave you to pay back, whether it's 30-day or it's a revolving account where you make a minimum payment, you can go ahead and just make your minimum payment or pay it back in full. But this allows you so that you can keep your cash flow going and don't have to pull out cash for every time you have to purchase merchandise or supplies for your business or a brand new computer and things of that nature. The next thing, business credit works for anyone who has an LLC, a corporation, or DBA. So if you have any of those three entities, you can start building business credit for your business. If you're a sole proprietorship, it's very hard to build credit for that because as a sole proprietor, you're already taking ownership of the debt. So you probably will want to switch over to an LLC to make things more easier for yourself. Another thing you should have for your business once you get your business entity established, registered with the state, you can go directly to the IRS website and establish your EIN. How can your business get the bank to know use your personal asset in addition to? Okay, can you retype that question for me? How can a business get? Okay. I'm gonna revisit that question that Annie had put. I'm trying to get a little clarification on what she just asked me in the feed. After you get your EIN, the next thing is to get register your DUNS number. A DUNS number you can get from a credit reporting agency called Dun and Bradstreet. It's a free number. It's a 9-digit number that they give you. So any vendors that you set up and that you are making payments to, you want to work with a vendor that reports your payment to one of the credit reporting agencies, such as Dun & Bradstreet. Second reporting agency is Experian, and the third one is Equifax. So you want them to report your payments so you can start building history with the credit agencies. You also want to show your creditors that you are spending money for your business so that you can get more credit established in the future, higher credit limits. After you get your DUNS number, I pretty much tell most people to go ahead and get your bank account established as well, because you do not want to have a gap from actually opening up your business to getting your bank account established. So you want to set up that bank account as soon as possible after your business is registered and you get that EIN number. Most banks open up your bank account with you being listed with your state, and also once you get your EIN number. There's a few banks that you may need your operating agreement, but most banks just need you to be registered with the state so they can look you up and establish EIN number. If you can do, Annie, if you can do me a huge favor and, reword your question, because I'm trying to figure out about the personal SSN that you're asking. So for your DUNS number, once you start applying for credit to different vendors, those vendors will now report to Dun & Bradstreet or Experian. One thing I help or assist people to do is help build up their Dun & Bradstreet profile, because your profile with Dun & Bradstreet is public. Okay. So Annie was asking, when you go for funding, they often ask for both your SSN and your EIN. How can you get them to take only your EIN number? How you can do that is, I tell most people to, once you open your bank account, you want to establish a relationship with that bank. Once you establish a relationship with that bank, you want to ask them things as, what's your qualifications for getting a line of credit, or a loan, or a business credit card? Now, in the process of building business credit or already having business credit established, you want to ask them, does business credit account in factoring, qualifying for any of those line of credit, funding, and or business credit card? You also want to ask, if you do make me a personal guarantor on my first line of credit or funding, and your profile is strong enough after, then that second loan, if needed, they wouldn't have to PG or personal guarantor the second loan. Most banks just want to look at your personal credit to make sure that you're credit worthy. Even though it is a business loan, they still want to take a snapshot at your personal credit. I advise most people too, because I have clients that have done this, is they personal guarantor the first one, as far as giving a SSN or Social Security number. But after that, if you build up a stronger business credit profile and you keep 10,000 or better average in your bank when you're growing your business, most banks will just go ahead and use your EIN number to give you credit or a line of credit or business funding for your business. I just got another question. When applying for credit for your business and you are brand new, does someone pull your personal credit? If you have no credit transactions, do they check? There are companies out there that won't ask you for your personal credit. You have to build up credit, and there are companies out there that will help you establish net 30 accounts to start building business credit. So building business credit is, you have to be very patient with building business credit. It's a process. It takes a while. So the first part of the process is structuring your business. And these are getting your name, your business registered with the state, getting your EIN, getting your DUNS number, making sure you have a business email address, getting listed, things to that nature. So once you establish the structure part of your business, the next phase will start getting vendor accounts, companies that will give you net 30 terms. Once you have a couple of net 30 terms, then you can move on to a second tier where you can start getting fleet cards. You can start getting direct-to-store credit. Companies like Dell, Amazon, Staples, you can start building or getting accounts with them. One thing I show people after you get 10 accounts built up on your Dun & Bradstreet profile is I can show you where you get your first 2 cash cards for your business that can range from $5,000 to $20,000. So there are companies out there that you don't have to get your personal credit pulled to start establishing business credit. I hope that answered Annie and JC Smith's question. You're welcome, JC Smith. So, once you build up a strong enough profile with when you build business credit, I would then advise people to go ahead and start open up lines of credit for their business. One thing when you open up that line of credit with your bank is it will open up a floodgate, because now other banks and other lenders will see that you have a line of credit established, and they will want to establish more lines of credit with you as well. So this can take 6 to 9 months depending on where your company's at. I just tell people to be patient throughout the process. You don't want to jump the gun. While you're building business credit, I always tell people to get your personal credit fixed. If you don't have great personal credit, that's a good time while you're establishing credit for your business. You can also work on getting your personal credit fixed, because after a while the two will go hand in hand. Business credit is a great leverage tool to use when getting funding, because if you can walk into the bank and you can keep $5,000 to $10,000 or more in that bank account without having any NSFs or anything like that, you come to the table with a strong business credit profile for your business. You have established lines of credit for your business. And if you have established a great personal credit for your business, great personal credit, then you come to the table with more leverage to get funding. I just got another question. How old does your business have to be? Business credit can be established as a startup. So it can be a startup business. You can start establishing business credit as soon as you register your business and get your EIN. The older the company, the better, because you're more established, you got revenue built up. But as a startup, you can start building business credit from the jump. What would be an example of jumping ahead? Thanks for these steps. So what would be a good example of jumping ahead? And when you say jumping ahead, you don't want to jump ahead. You do want to follow the process. So there is a process before you start skipping steps. So the first step in building it is making sure your company is structured properly. The second step is starting to build vendor accounts for your business, because those vendor accounts will help you establish business credit. Once you get about 5 vendor accounts under your belt, the next phase will be to start getting gas cards for your business and direct-to-store credit. So direct-to-store credit would be companies like Dell, Walmart, Sam's Club, things to that nature. And lastly, once you get 10 accounts reporting to your Dun & Bradstreet profile, you can start applying for credit cards or cash cards. There are a few cash cards out there that you don't need to apply with your social. You can apply just with your business information. Another question, what is a good line of credit to start off with as a small business? Well, when you say line of credit, are you talking about funding or a line of credit to have with a bank, or are you talking about vendors? So just get some clarity on that question as far as a good line of credit to start off. What are a few examples of vendor lines? A few examples of vendor lines is Dell, Apple, Uline, Amazon, things to that nature. 1,000, 4,000, how much? Okay, so Annie said 1,000, 4,000. So if you want to establish a line of credit and you don't have any business credit established, then you will have to use your social security number, because no bank is going to fund you without not having any business credit. So I would tell people, if you want to build up business credit first, and you should, before applying for lines of credit and or funding, it would be better because you go to the table with more leverage for your business. Aaron Johnson, I hope that answered your question. Annie, I hope that answered your question as well. Any other questions in the feed that I missed? Aaron just asked another question. I'm running a home-based business, newly created. Does D&B require I have a different address other than my home? No, you don't. You just have to make sure whatever address that you're using for your business, that is tied across the board with your business. So you don't want to have 2 addresses. You don't want to have one address with the bank and then a different address registered with the state. So whatever address you have registered with the state, that address should be mainly used when you're listing your company anywhere, when you're opening up your bank account, when you get your DUNS number, things of that nature. So you want to have the same address across the board. You do not want to use a P.O. box or any post office address. So Annie just replied, Aaron Johnson, I know you do not, but be consistent. I have a P.O. box, so that's used everywhere. Be consistent. Okay? And with a P.O. box, if you start applying for business credit, that would be a red flag, so you can get denied credit if you have a P.O. box. I tell people to either use your home address or you can get a virtual office. Now, in some states, there are office buildings that you can get a business address because the creditors Google map the address that you put on the application. When they Google map your location, they can see if it's an office building, if it's one of the UPS stores, if it's your local Dunkin' Donuts. So you either use your home address or a virtual address. Now, a virtual address, if you don't have the funding to pay for that monthly fee of $50 or more, then you will want to just use your home address until you can get established, get business credit established, and then build up the revenue to where you can get a virtual office. But if you can't afford a virtual office, I let people know, just go ahead and use your home address. Creditors do approve you for lines of credit with their company if you have a home address. So there's a lot of home-based businesses out there, so you can definitely use your home address. Right, Andy, but exactly. So you want to be consistent because you have your home address here, but then you have your P.O. box listed here. So that's a red flag to creditors. They don't want to see that. They want to see consistency with the address. Correct. UPS stores don't work. You don't want to use that because they can Google map that and they see that, they see that it's a UPS store. The creditors want to see an office building or a physical address, which is your home address. They don't want to see nothing. They don't want to see anything besides that, or office building. So if they see an office building, see a home address, they're fine with that. UPS stores, post office, I know people like to use those, but if you put that on the application, they will red flag it, and they will not extend credit to you. So you want to stay away from those as best as you can. So consistency with using your address, your business address. That has to be tied with your business across the board. Another thing I would like to touch on is you should also have another question. What business should not do in terms of trying to get funding from a bank? What business should not do in terms of trying to get funding from a bank or other source? I would tell people, as best as you can, try not to attach your personal credit to getting funding. Business credit will help you to get funding in the near future, but you have to be patient to build it up. I wouldn't personally tell someone to jump out there to try to get funding from a bank or anywhere else. It's okay to maybe get a business credit card to help you out. There's some good business credit cards that you can use to help establish or get you through. But I tell most startups or entrepreneurs or existing businesses, hey, you need to start building up business credit so you can get more funding in the near future, because that's what it helps you with. It helps you to establish, get more funding in the near future. And it gives you leverage when you're trying to get funding and lines of credit. I can't stress that enough. So try to stay away from using your personal credit for everything for your business. You want to keep the two separate as best you can. Any other questions from the audience? This is a great time to ask. If you haven't established credit for your business, I can definitely answer any questions that you have. Great question. Aaron Johnson, what would it be best to establish a bank account with one of the major banks, i.e. Chase, or going with a local community bank? What I advise people on that is when you open up your bank account, you want to ask about qualifications as far as loans, lines of credit, and also business credit cards. You want to see if they help small business owners in those areas. So you want to get the best bang for your buck, because we all know if you have money sitting in your bank, the bank definitely is making money off the money that you have sitting in there. So why not also benefit from the perks that they may have for small business owners? So great question. That's some of the things I ask when opening up my bank account, to see if they help small business owners and what areas do they do that in. Another question was, Annie, I was thinking more along the lines of do not make up stuff about your business to get credit. Yes, great point, but hopefully as a business owner, this is your passion. This is something that you love to do. So you want to be as honest as possible when obtaining credit or applying for credit, because they check everything. So at the end of the day, if you want to put something that's not true on an application or things of that nature, at one point in time they will find out. If not, once they run the application, they can find out those things. Very true. Book record keeping is always great. I mean, as far as financial statements are concerned, yeah, you don't want to ever report, revenue, overstate revenue, or, screw with your financials. So you always want to have great record keeping. As far as your business is concerned, you always want to have your tax returns as well. You don't want to play around with anything with the IRS. So yeah, as a business owner, like I said, if great record keeping is always good. You don't want to play around with the numbers just so you can get more money and things to that nature. If you establish business credit, keep great records, pay your bills on time, keep X amount of dollars. I tell people they can keep $5,000 or more in their bank. These are things that's going to help qualify to get you more money in the near future. That is correct. You need to establish a business address, or like I said, I tell people if they don't have the funding to get a business address, such as a virtual office, then you can use your home address. J.C. Smith, a student loan will not hurt when you establish business credit, because they don't pull your personal credit. This is something that I do, my company does. I help people establish business credit. So the companies that I show you how to build the credit up, your personal credit will not be involved at all. What about stated income products? Are they available today? James Clark, what about stated income products? Are they available today? Can you give me some clarity on what you're trying to ask me? by likes, does everybody have their DUNS number for their business? Okay. Aaron Johnson, that's something you might want to go ahead and apply. JC, you want to do that as well. I mean, you want to go ahead and get your DUNS number. It's a free number. You can go right to www.ddavid, A as in Apple, N as in Nancy, D as in David, B as in boy.com. It's a free number. And just go ahead and apply. It takes up to 30 days. If you're dealing with government contracts or anything like that, you can get your DUNS number within 48 hours. So if you're doing any contract work, or in the future you want to do contract work for your business, you can get your DUNS number a lot quicker. But if you're not doing any government contract work, it takes up to 30 days to get. What other practice can you offer while we are waiting for questions? One thing you want to do as business owners is also, Andy touched on this, is make sure that you're checking your business credit reports to make sure there's no erroneous information out there. One site that I give people to look at to make sure is NAV, NancyAppleVictor.com. They monitor your business reports and scores for free, along with your personal credit. So you make sure you check your business credit reports to make sure there's nothing out there. If you don't have business credit established, somebody may report something that you are unaware about. So you always want to check your business credit report. So make sure you do that as well, business owners. April said I previous had a number, but it was for another business I was doing. Okay, so if you have two businesses, you want to, establish a DUNS number for both businesses, April, if you're trying to build credit for both of them. So you might want to get a number for that. Great question, James. Good point. You do not want to buy any services from Dun & Bradstreet. They will try to sell you on their business credit builder. It is not really a credit builder. It is for people who have vendors and or credit cards that don't report, and their program is to help you self-report your payments so you can start building a great business credit profile with Dun & Bradstreet. So when you get your DUNS number and you call to see if it was processed, do not, and I repeat, do not get any products from Dun & Bradstreet. You do not need them. Trust. Right. You can go to iupdate.dnb.com. That would be that is a great website to go to. You can also go to the website I gave you earlier, which is D&B, David, Apple, Nancy, DavidBoy.com, and you can log in from there and click on Company Update and also view your report. It's a much cleaner report than the iUpdate report, so you can kind of understand the report a little bit better from iUpdate. Also, people, one thing I want to touch on, I was just told I got a few minutes, a business email address. Business owners, just to let you know, Yahoo, Gmail, Outlook, AOL are not business email addresses. You will want to get a legitimate business email address, which your company name should be after the @ symbol. You do not want to have your company name before the @ symbol and say tiresinc@gmail or yahoo.com. That is not a legitimate business email address in the creditor's eyes. So you will want to get a business email address with your company name after the @ symbol. So if you have a Yahoo or Gmail or anything like that, you want to look into upgrading that to getting a legitimate business email address. Adriana, I can inbox you some information or email you some information on my fees for helping you build your business credit. I just like to talk to the business owners and see exactly where they're at, if they started, things to that nature. Great question, Annie. An 800 number. There are companies like Grasshopper. There are companies, eVoice is another company you get an 800 number from. Ring Central is another one. I just found out that GoDaddy has 800 numbers as well. I personally use eVoice. They give you the first month free to gauge how many calls you get in for your business, so you can choose your package correctly. So they have a smaller package, and then they have another package for 1,000 minutes for like $29.99. But those are 3 companies that actually you can get an 800 number from. That's correct. So you want to look creditable as a business. I tell people you want to look like a Fortune 500 on paper, whether you have the revenue to back it or not. So all creditors want to see is credibility and professionalism, and seeing that you invested in your business. You do not want to look like a mom and pop shop. Most of us are when we're getting started, but the creditors don't need to know that. You want to look like a Fortune 500 on paper. Yes, 800 number, and the reason Annie brought that up is because if you're running your business off a mobile phone, they can turn you down for credit. They want you to have either a landline for your business or a toll-free number. Now, this toll-free number, it rings right to your phone. You just download the app depending on which company you use, and you will never miss a call. The number will ring right to your phone, and it sounds very professional. It greets you with your, business name. It greets you with your name. You can send callers the voicemails. You can set up different extensions if you have employees. So it's just a great tool to have, and you won't miss a call. It's just creditors in this day and age, you would think that they will allow people to use a mobile number to run their business, but this is all about credibility and showing that you are investing in your business. So that's why Annie brought that up as far as the 800 number, because you have to either have a landline or a toll-free number. And J.C. Smith, if you have a domain, you will have access to that email address if you have a domain. So another good thing is for business owners to make sure you don't have to build a great website, but you should have a website up to show your services and things of that nature. Doesn't have to be upscale, just need to have a domain name with something basic on it. Your location, your services, things of that nature. Because creditors sometimes will check your website to see if you have a website, and they will go to your website and see what's on there, what services you provide. No, it won't have an effect, Aaron Johnson. You can always go back, and if you don't have a toll-free number right now, you can always go back and put that information in. Right now, you can base it off the information that you have, and once it's processed, and then you get your 800 number, you can always update that information with Dun & Bradstreet. That's not a problem, Aaron Johnson. Not a problem at all. JC Smith, most creditors can know if you're running a mobile. They have a system where once they type in your number, it can pull up as a mobile, landline, or toll free. So they have systems where they know if you're running from a mobile phone. Yes, just got my domain and just created a business email last week. Working on site now. Perfect. You're welcome, JC Smith. No problem. Any other questions? I know my time is a little limited now. Thank you guys for being patient with us. I know we were trying to connect live to set up the interview, but due to technical difficulties, that didn't happen. So I hope this information does help. I will pin my information later as far as my telephone number to be reached, my email address, and also my website. If anybody have any additional questions, I will definitely answer them for you. James Clark, I will send you over that information as well, so we can speak, so I can see exactly where you're at in the process of building your credit for your business. Okay. Thank you guys so much. It was a pleasure sharing some great information with you. I hope you guys use this information and apply it to your business, because it definitely will help in the near future. Thank you guys. You guys have a wonderful day. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for being